Mathematics is the one thing we are not supposed to question. Not God, not morality, not the reliability of our senses. All of these have been subjected to centuries of rigorous philosophical doubt. But mathematics sits apart. It is treated as the flaw beneath the doubt itself, the thing you cannot remove without removing the capacity to think at all. And I want to question it anyway. Not to argue that 2 plus 2 equals 5, but to ask something more unsettling. What if mathematics is not a discovery, but a construction? And what if we are so embedded within that construction that we cannot see its walls? The Platonic claim. Plato and Pythagoras shared a conviction. Mathematical truths exist independently of human minds. Numbers are not invented, they are encountered. The perfect circle, the infinite series, the prime. These things exist somewhere beyond the physical world, eternal and unchanging. And mathematics is the discipline by which we perceive them. This position is called mathematical realism, and it remains, surprisingly, the default assumption of most working mathematicians today. Not because they have proven it, simply because it feels true. Mathematics seems too precise, too reliable, too eerily applicable to the physical world to be something we merely made up. But feelings are not proofs, and that feeling of necessity deserves some form of scrutiny. So I will introduce the demon. In 1641, René Descartes proposed the thought experiment. Suppose, he said, that an evil demon of supreme power and cunning has devoted all its energies to deceiving you. Every sensation, every perception, every apparent fact about the external world, all of it, potentially a fabrication. What remains when you strip away everything that demon could have falsified? His answer, the act of doubting itself, I think therefore I am, posthumously changed to I doubt therefore I am. The demon cannot deceive a nothing. Something must exist to be deceived. Descartes used this experiment to clear the ground, to find bedrock beneath the doubt, and crucially, once he had established the thinking self, he allowed mathematicians back in. Geometry and number, he believed, were too self-evident to be a demonic fabrication. 2 and 2 made 4 even in a deceived mind. I want to reverse that move. What if mathematics is not the bedrock beneath the demon, but the demon itself? Consider the alternative to mathematical realism. Mathematics may not be a feature of reality that we discovered. It may be a feature of cognition, an extraordinarily efficient way that brains like ours process and compress information about the world. So useful, so internally consistent, and so productive that it creates the overwhelming impression of objectivity. There are no perfect circles in the physical world. There are no true infinities. There are only approximations, curves that are nearly circular, quantities that are very large. The perfect forms exist inside the mathematics, not outside of it. We project them onto reality, and reality approximately cooperates. In an alternative universe, a species with entirely different sensory architecture might have developed entirely different formal systems to describe the same underlying phenomena. Systems unrecognizable to us, not wrong, just structured differently by different minds around different perceptions. And if that is possible, then mathematics is not universal. It is local. It is ours. In 1931, Kurt Gödel proved something that the mathematical community has never quite recovered from. Any sufficiently powerful mathematical system, any system capable of doing serious arithmetic, contains truths that cannot be proven within that system. To prove them, you must step outside the system, but the system you step into has its own unprovable truths, and so on, without an end. Mathematics is permanently caught between completeness and consistency. It cannot have both. It imposes limitations on itself that it cannot resolve from within itself. That is not a minor technical footnote, it is a structural wound. If mathematics were a transparent window onto eternal Platonic truth, we would not expect it to have blind spots baked into its foundations, but it does. And those blind spots are provably, mathematically, irreducible. If our demon has a name, it is Mathematica. and it hides its vulnerabilities behind an allure of logical continuity, leading us always forward, always deeper, always away from the edges where the system breaks. The defense of mathematics usually runs like this. It is too useful to be wrong. Physics, cosmology, engineering, the precision is uncanny. If it were purely a human invention, we would expect it to fail more often. And this is a fair point. In certain domains, mathematics works with a reliability that borders on the miraculous. But in others, it is deeply, structurally inadequate. Consciousness resists it. Qualitative experience, the redness of red, the specific quality of grief cannot be captured in an equation. The emergence of meaning from matter has no agreed mathematical formulation. The things that matter most to the creature doing the mathematics are precisely the things mathematics cannot reach. And perhaps this isn't a coincidence. Perhaps it is the shape of the cage. Now consider the thought experiment the article arrived at, and I want you to stay with it because it goes somewhere genuinely strange. Reverse the first principles. Imagine a universe in which coherence indicates a wrong turn, in which anomaly and a chaos are prized. Pattern is a warning sign, and the less things make sense, the better. A kind of feverish postmodern Boltzmann brain. A hysteria-ridden god thrashing a paintbrush across an infinite canvas with no intention and no witness. Would it produce the same outcome? Almost certainly yes. The infinite monkey theorem guarantees it. Given sufficient time and sufficient chaos, recurrence emerges inevitably. Even a universe whose first principle is anti-teleology will eventually generate structure. Probability does not care about the intentions of the system it operates within, which means, even in that inverted reality, something like us, something pattern-seeking, stability-craving, mathematics constructing would likely emerge. A hysterical mind hallucinating order in a sandbox of noise, building equations to soothe itself, calling them universal truths. And if that is what we are, if the demon is not external but self-imposed, if mathematica is the story we will tell to make the chaos seem relational rather than cold and odd, then understanding the words would only deepen the lie. The grammar of the demon is still grammar.